And we are ready to roll.
Hey, King Jerm, watch after you say this is a 12 podcast. And watch that giggle, man. That giggle.
Yeah,
You want to talk about an expensive giggle?
check this shit out.
Hey
Check
Yeah,
this
man, I
out.
ain't got it.
check this
I ain't
out.
got it. I ain't got it.
Ladies and
Ladies
gentlemen.
and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. Man, check this out.
You can't help yourself.
Ooh-wee. Boy, we got one for you right here. Um, if you've been following social media, uh, well, first let me back up before I even get started. For those of you who listen to this podcast on a regular basis, you know that I hardly ever talk about current events. Because one, who wants to talk about stuff now? Because a lot of stuff now is just crazy and depressing. But anyway, um, here recently there was a discussion / argument, and I didn't even see the entire argument. Rapper Tony Yayo recently went on the ever popular podcast called Drink Champs, hosted by Noriega and DJ Effin. I think that's his name. EFN or Effin. I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyway, we're gonna roll with it. Nonetheless, the brother Tony Yayo had some very, very not so subtle things to say about the differences between two particular MCs that players like myself and my guest here grew up on. He was talking about the Notorious B.I.G. and Ice Cube. Let's take a listen at what he had to say. And what I'm going to also play for you is the audio of the actual argument that he had with DJ F. And those are the two voices that you'll hear. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, and thank you for watching, you won't be able to hear because they're going to take it down. So just here we go. Now that you've heard that, before we get into it, let me first introduce my guests. Both are no strangers to the show. First up, he's a podcast extraordinaire. The man actually does a podcast with his wife, and she is by far a superstar. She lets him tag along. One of my favorite podcasts, hands down. They were the Frocast, but then they changed everything, flipped up the script. They got a new deal, from from Sony Records. And now, the money's just coming in left and right. From Pod and Saved Our Marriage podcast, my man King Jerm is in the building. Jerm, what up?
What's going on, 12 Cal? Thank you again for having me on the 12 Cal show. I just got to say, the green room at the 12 Cal studios is amazing. They have these little cookies. I don't know where he gets them from. They're like the ones at Doubletree, but they're a little bit better. I think he got a chef or something downstairs that makes them. 12 Cal is the consummate host. I appreciate coming through here. I always get a nice little goodie bag to take home. But yeah, I'm glad to be back, man.
Man, good to have you back on. Jerm has been on here several times, and it's always fun. And like I said, I've been on his podcast. I haven't been invited to Pod and Saved Our Marriage just yet. Maybe they'll get me for the 12th episode. Hint, hint. And my second guest, again, no stranger to the show, my brother from the West Coast. He's been on here before. He's running for president. He's got 2 dope podcasts, Open Run with BTG and BTG for President. My man Baylor is back in the building. BTG, what's good, brother?
Hey, King Jerm, I'm not losing nothing today. Nothing, okay? You got to understand, I am the heaviest West Coast bias I've ever been in my life today. I'm tired of the East Coast. I'm tired of East and the whole coast today, okay? We're not about to do this. Y'all give New York everything. It's probably the oldest state in this country, and it's still New York.
And you know what? You know what's funny is that we came to this idea of this podcast, and we really turned it around relatively quickly, just based on a discussion that the 3 of us had on Twitter. And Jerm hit me up. Jerm just started listening to BTG for president, and he was like, "Yo, man, Jerm called me the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and was like, yo, man, your boy Baylor got a dope podcast and so forth and so on." I related to Baylor, and he said, "Man, appreciate it," and they started chatting or whatever like that, and somehow we got into this discussion. I don't even know if it was something I tweeted or something.
It was.
And okay, well, it was okay, so it was behind my tweet, and so here we are. So we're gonna talk about that, but before we get into that, you guys know I got to tease it a little bit. Let's, for those who don't know, King Jerm, give me, don't give me your real name. Give me your age, because I'm setting something up here. Give me your age and where you are from, not where you live, but where you from.
I am 45.
Okay.
I was born, raised in North Carolina.
What part?
Greensboro.
Okay. All right, cool. BTG, Baylor. Where are you from and how old are you?
40. I'm 40 and I'm born and raised in South Central.
Okay, South Central LA, for those of you scoring at home. Not South Central.
Where we lost Ricky Baker. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like King Jerm, like in Menace to Society, when they came up and killed Kane's cousin, like that's how I felt King Jerm rode up on us like that.
Oh wow!
Oh, what?
Yeah!
Wow!
Like,
Damn, Jerm!
Like he only told me twice to get out the car. You know what I'm saying? Like you got at least give me 3 times. Like 3 strikes you're out, not 2. You know
Right. Man, you took me back with it, man. I love that movie. I actually love both movies, Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood. So before we get into, I want people to hear that, because, a lot of times and a lot of the discussion that we saw online was, the quote unquote biases, because, and I'm not even sure where, I know Tony Yayo's from New York. And one of the funniest things I saw was somebody on IG said, trying to debate a New York cat about a New York bias is futile, which is true, because they are clearly, now, here's the thing about people, or at least the people that I know from New York, and I know a lot of people from New York, they will big up their, they are really entrenched as far as their boroughs is concerned. But now, once you step outside that borough, if you're not from New York, like, they won't tolerate any New York slander whatsoever. Now, a Bronx cat and a Brooklyn cat, they might not see things eye to eye. They might not like the same favorite rappers. But, if you say something bad about New York, then it's like it's an attack on everybody from New York. And it's not really, but, it is what it is. I haven't seen the same from LA, and I know quite a few people from LA. But anyway.
We're going to see it tonight. I'm sure you're going to see it tonight.
So before we get deep down into it, King Jerm.
Yes.
Tell me your favorite song from Biggie and why that's your favorite song.
Oh, man. My favorite song is probably going to be Kicking the Door.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's like the Biggie song where he shows his lyrical ability. You know what I'm saying? Just showing how nice he was. Maybe even unbelievable. You know what I'm saying?
You got to pick one now. Pick one.
Just one? Oh,
yeah,
man.
Just give me one. Your favorite.
For a guy that has never made a whack song, Biggie doesn't have one whack song on his record. So, you know what? I'm going to go Warning. Warning is my favorite Biggie song.
Okay.
Final answer.
Baylor, what about you? What's your favorite Biggie song?
That's so light. I'm going with from Biggie?
Yeah, from Biggie.
Oh, Biggie. It might, you know what? It might be Hypnotized. Yeah. Because don't get me wrong. I like the filthy gutter side of Big. Because that's a lot of that plays a part in his storytelling. Right? He's great at that. But the shiny suits, he made you want to dance. He made like his singles. And credit to Puff, that's the Phil Jackson over there.
Of course.
He made the music comfortable. You know what I mean? And then by Big's appearance, he made you feel comfortable around him. I'm talking about for the other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and that video was crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was back when they made mini movies as you know,
Facts.
yeah.
Yeah, your video's like a mini movie for real.
Oh man,
Um, Now conversely, Baylor, what's your favorite Ice Cube song?
it's dope, man. What? Dope, man. You want to know why? Because
Why?
it painted a picture. This is how I'm gonna win the show because Ice Cube has nothing but songs that paint pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was the dope man
Mm.
at like 9. That's not a good thing, okay? Being 9 years old talking about if your girl kneeled down. Come
Right.
on, man. I'm not supposed to know that, but I did.
Right.
And this is why I'm here at 40.
Mm. Mm. Okay, King Jerm, what about you? Your favorite Ice Cube song?
I'd probably have to go jacking for beats.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's great. That's a great
Ooh,
one. I
from the
like
Kill It
that one.
Will.
He kind of
Kill It
threw that
Will.
off the backboard and caught it and reversed it. I
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, I forgot to tell y'all my favorites.
I thought you was
For
being impartial with this.
well, I mean,
SoCal.
I'm sharing
Okay,
this
go
with the
ahead.
people. I'm gonna
Okay, go ahead.
King Jerm, let me rob this train.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Um, for Biggie, I'd probably say, damn, it's tough because there's so many. Um, I probably say, nah, not that one. Because here's the thing, Biggie's got so many joints, and we got Biggie joints in a short period of time. But I'll probably go, um, unbelievable. With Primo on the beat, that's probably my favorite. Ice Cube is tough, man. I probably my favorite probably has to go back to um Once Upon a Time in the Projects.
Which one?
The original. The
Okay.
album version. Um yeah, the album version was I mean both versions was cold, but the album version, man, listen, that just it takes me back, man. It takes me back. And I mean Q was just he was on a whole nother level back then when it came to rhyming. Um so we heard the audio from Tony Yayo and DJ Effin. Um and so the debate was initially about story rhymes. Um and so before I even throw it out to these gentlemen, let me just run something down here. The quote unquote tale of the tape. Um, Ice Cube has 10 studio albums, 6 compilation albums, 1 EP, and 12 movie soundtracks. Biggie has 2 studio albums, 3 posthumous albums, because as many of you know, or you don't know, you've been hiding under a rock all of these years. Biggie was tragically murdered in 1997. So 3 posthumous albums, 2 compilation albums, under his belt. No movie soundtracks. Oh, excuse me, 1 movie soundtrack. So I think the thing that I wanted to convey to people is particularly when we started, when this debate started kicking up, was I didn't know how to measure the tail of the tape, if you will, because based on the numbers that I just read to you, Ice Cube has a bigger portfolio to view from. Biggie, and it's not Biggie's fault that he only had 2 albums. I mean, it's no fault of his own that he was tragically taken away from us. And that's become the Biggie argument, over the years. And I remember one of my homeboys saying Biggie's the Terrell Davis of hip hop. Meaning, like, remember how the debate was when Terrell Davis was up for the Hall of Fame, and Terrell Davis had a very, very, and I'm talking about the running back for the Denver Broncos, for those of you who don't follow sports. Terrell Davis had a great career, but his career span of dominance was only like maybe 5 or 6 years, wherein you had his other counterparts that had 10, 12, 15-year careers. And so you're not really comparing apples to apples, but Terrell Davis in the short period of time was very dominant at his sport. Conversely, Biggie, much could be the same. Much could be said for the same for Biggie. Very dominant in a very short span of time. So as I measured the tail of the tape, at first glance, it appears to me that Ice Cube has a bigger portfolio, more songs, more rhymes, more story rhymes to go. But anyway, I wanted to bring these two cats on because one, I value their hip hop opinions. I value their opinions, period. But I also value their hip hop opinions. And so I got to start with you, King Jerm. Who do you think the better lyricist is? Ice Cube or Biggie? I'm sorry, no. Before we go to lyricist, story rhymes. Who do you think writes the best story rhymes, Biggie or Ice Cube?
The one they call the Rap Alfred Hitchcock. So that would be Notorious B.I.G.
Okay, and why do you think Biggie has the better story rhymes?
Because sometimes you could just close your eyes and listen to him rap, and he could just take you there to what he was talking about.
Okay,
And you could just close your eyes and visually see whatever he's talking about. Arizona Ron with the black Yukon and his man Two Tex that like to toe Two Tex, and when he get the bus, he like to ask who's next. All that stuff, he just takes you there. You know what I'm saying? So I go Biggie right there.
okay. Um, Baylor. Um, who do you think between the two, between Ice Cube and the Notorious B.I.G., had the better story rhymes?
It's Ice Cube, and we up by 30 in the third quarter. It's so easy. It's I don't see what we doing here. And the argument will always be that Big will be top 3 of all time, right? And I agree with that. But the only reason why I agree with that is because where his career stopped, that's where I left him.
Okay.
And at that moment, I said, that's that guy. That's their guy. You know what I mean? And he brought him out. He brought him out. Nip did the same thing. What I'm trying to say is Big was, if I had to put New York under a picture, it'd be under him.
Okay.
That was supposed to be their president, boss, general, the whole nine. You know? And that's how I feel about Nip. That's how I felt about Pop. You know what I mean? So, but no. The championship cut off at a certain point, and my player kept going to the playoffs after that. Yeah, did he have a super team? He did. Okay. But he had 2 super teams.
Interesting.
But he coached them. So, I mean, what you want me to do? I say we up by 30 in the third quarter. It's not fair. I'm going to call dogs out. I'm going to bring third string in so we can make this competitive in the fourth quarter.
Hey, what year did Lethal Injection come out? About 93?
Lethal was
Lethal Injection. I can tell you 1 second. I got
93. I think it was 93.
December 7th, 1993.
And that was the last album he had before West Side Connection, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that was the last time that was the last time Ice Cube has been relevant in music. It's 93. Biggie hadn't even dropped Ready to Die yet. So Cube career ended before Biggie's career began. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep going, 12 Kyle. Let's not derail this show.
No, it's not derailing. We are right in the pocket. Here's what I'll say. I think when you look at it in its totality, I get where you're coming from, Jerm. I get where Baylor's coming from. I think the problem is that when you look at the book of story rhymes, and this is where Tony Yayo, I think, got it wrong. Because he kept saying the same thing over and over. He was quoting the same verse. When you look at Ice Cube's story rhymes, again, I'm going to go back to my favorite Ice Cube song, Once Upon a Time in the Projects. That is the quintessential Ice Cube story rhyme. He takes you to a girl that he was trying to holler at, crack house, had a sister that was pregnant. Brother came in, is in the gang banging because he walked up and said, "What set you claiming? I don't bang, I write the good rhymes." The whole scenery reminded me of good times.
You've seen that building before. I've seen that building before, Jerm.
Jerm, that's tough right there.
And that's just the first one. We're not gonna talk about, which is my favorite one, is the 98 version. Okay. where it was a setup, and the
Yeah.
girl from 210 came with her number and a Glock. Come
So-
on, man. When he brought in a chainsaw, come on, man. I ran to a closet before, King Jerm.
Okay.
And it was in the project.
So King Jerm, when
Yes.
when you think about Biggie's story rhymes, what is your? Do you have a favorite, or do you want to put some out there to state your case?
Okay, well, I mean, the obvious, I got a story to tell. That's one. You know, you can go there. Two, you can go with warning. You know what I'm saying? That one. Three, you're nobody till somebody kills you. Four, I know people don't like this song, but Missing You is one. Sky's the limit.
You wait a minute. You see 12 cal. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Holding.
Can we get a 20 second? 20
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerm, you said Missing You.
Missing You.
Is that a story rhyme, Jerm?
Yes. Yes.
All right, Jerm. I'm about to pull it up, Jerm. I got 3 computers up, 3 screens up for just for this reason.
Jerm is not about to convince the
12 nation, the 12
we're gonna call them the referees, okay, the officials. That's a love story.
No, they're talking about Missing You. He talking about his homeboy. Well, one song, first verse, he was talking about his missing his man Obi, and then the second verse was about the girl. The third verse, it was a story in each. Okay. It was a story in each verse.
Let's go to Genius here.
I remember selling 3 bricks of straight powder. Got my man to beat down to the third power. Didn't matter because spend the money in a half hour. He telling the whole story right there, man. Like Biggie whole second album. Whole Life After Death was story rhymes. That's why I was just like,
I do like, you know what? I do like that. But how many people in the United States of America can relate to that?
I mean, it's a lot of people out there that used to do dumb stuff with their homeboy. Not maybe to the effect of selling fake drugs to somebody that could have got them killed, but you've done some dummy stuff with your homeboys. You know what I'm saying? And you can relate to some stuff like that, man.
Okay. So, Jerm, I got it pulled up here, right? Okay. And I'm listening. I'm looking at. We used to work all weekends and play movies. We rock flat tops. Our girls rock doobies. Made a killing, even though these knew my name. Eventually, you try to do me, so forth. So, okay, so that's the second verse. He is. I don't know that this second verse is a story rhyme.
Okay.
It's a rhyme, and it is a dope rhyme, but I don't know if it's a story rhyme.
I'm surprised you haven't said the one that I thought you was gonna say first, because I got something to combat that.
What is that? Well, let's let Jerm get his story run. So what else you got? What other songs you said for story runs? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Suicidal Thoughts, is you gonna run that one through it?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's tough.
Okay. What about Juicy? What about Juicy?
What is the story about that?
Juicy, the story from going from bad to rich. I mean, it was the whole story about how bad they had it and how good they have it now. It was you know what I'm saying? They went from good times to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, man. Come on, man.
I think it's a fine line between telling the story and describing a time. We're gonna roll with it though. You got Juicy.
Okay.
You got that one.
What's beef?
Ooh. See, this is what y'all do. This is what y'all doing. This is what Big does. Big will have a song, but then tell a small story inside of a song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching.
Cinematic.
I'm watching you.
Let me see. Let me pull up What's Beef.
Me and my bitch. What about me and my bitch?
That's a
hold on. Let's go back. I got the lyrics pulled up to Ralph At Your Hit kind of plays. This isn't a story rhyme, Jerm.
Which one you tell me? Which one you on now?
I'm on. No. I'm on What's Beef.
What's beef?
What's beef is a story rhyme.
That's not a story.
He's not telling a story. He's rhyming, but he's not telling a story.
He's talking about his buddy Gutter kidnapping kids, messing with them, and then throwing them over the bridge. That's how it is. This thing is what?
Okay, so let me stop you there, Jerm.
Okay.
He said that, but he doesn't mention Gutter anymore in that rhyme. If he was telling a story rhyme, the beginning would be about Gutter, the middle would be about Gutter, and the end would be about Gutter.
I concede What's Beef. What's beef?
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned the obvious.
Which oh,
I thought he was gonna say 10 crack
I
commandments.
had that on my list also.
Okay.
No,
I got a
niggas
list.
bleed.
10 commandments on here. What else we got?
Jerm,
Everyday struggle
niggas bleed is a story rhyme.
is
Yes, it is. To
okay.
Jay's agenda.
I
Got up
was just
in
making
that.
sure.
That was the one that Tony A kept quoting.
Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure I got everyday struggle on the list.
Uh-huh.
We got respect. You gonna let that one go?
What everyday struggle? I don't
Yeah.
live
I
no.
don't want to live no more. He talking about how he got to go to court and all that. Come on. Then he talking about his man Tech. If every verse is a different story, come on, Kyle. Work with
You know
me
what?
here.
Okay.
Yo, he
He's
these
reaching.
are you he's giving YouTube clips. That's what he's doing. This is YouTube clips. All right. Because I can't wait. Look, his storytelling songs is being under investigation right now. I can't wait till we get to my list. Ain't none of mine's gonna be questioned like that. Not under the eyes of the Lord. Not today.
All right. So what else you got, Jerm?
Somebody got to die.
Taco, you gotta go. Somebody gonna shut close. Nobody got the time.
He starts it off with the. He starts it off telling him, painting the
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
I'm freaking King Jerry with me to Vegas, dog.
Yeah. That's a story. Yeah, that's a story, Rob. That's a story.
Okay, so I gave you about. What about my downfall? You ain't gonna. Well, you're nobody. We already got that one. That's clear. That's 100% storytelling right there.
Yeah, and I think the thing that differentiates and the thing that differentiates two MCs here is that, like Baylor said, I think Biggie's telling a story within the rhyme, but I think Ice Cube is telling a story rhyme. Yeah, okay. So Jerm, you laid out about what, 6 or 7, right? Okay.
I laid out about 12, 12 Kyle.
Okay.
Well, I had to take a couple of them off the list.
Okay.
You better be glad I ain't say Big Papa.
Big Papa, what?
That's not a story rhyme.
How's that not a story? He telling about how he sees some ladies tonight that should be having his baby.
Oh my God!
He's talking about eating cheese, eggs, and waffle steaks and all that, rolling up with his crew and my crew, and then we go. Come on, man! Nah.
See, I knew he was gonna do this.
Yeah, Jerm, I think you fell into his trap.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I knew he was gonna do this.
Okay. All right. So there we have it. Tail of the tape for Biggie. For those of you listening and scoring at home, because we want, it's not a lot of times that I do episodes where I actually solicit people's opinion. But if you listen, particularly on Spotify, there's a poll, and I'm going to create a poll for you guys who listen on Spotify to be able to vote. And it's going to be simply put, who's the better lyricist, Biggie or Ice Cube, and you can vote or on Spotify. Sorry they don't have it on Apple and the other streaming platforms, but hey, it is what it is. Or you can comment on YouTube if you're watching as well. Please do. Okay, Baylor.
Yeah.
Story rhymes. You think that Ice Cube is a better story rhymer than Biggie?
By far. And not only that, I don't even think Big has a better song than Today Was a Good Day. There's not a Big song ever created that's better than that song.
Wow. Jerm, your rebuttal?
Big can be
top.
Big can be top 2, top 3, all he want. All we want. But he does not have any song in that catalog of his that's better than that track.
Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly. 100% Warning is better than that song.
Warning is not played on the radio like that at all.
I mean, Ice Cube stole a beat that we all familiar with.
You want to talk about stolen beats? You better look at Puff Daddy first.
I mean, I get it.
Look at Puff Daddy first. When you talk about
I get why we are so. This Today Was a Good Day song. Why it just because we used to that beat. That's Saturday morning, getting up, cleaning up. So it just brings us. Yes, that song is a dope song. Maybe Ice Cube's best song. Period. You know what I'm saying? But that was 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I was 14 when that song came out. You know what I'm saying? 13 when that song came out. And I get it. Great song. But Biggie got way better songs than that. Just to be honest, man. I think it's the
But
nostalgia.
that wasn't the question. He said, "Does Biggie have a better song?"
I said Warning.
A better story run. If we're doing draft picks, like you know,
Okay.
me and Eclectic doing a eclectic discussion podcast where we draft things. If we're drafting story rhyme songs, and Baylor says my number one pick is "It Was a Good Day" by Ice Cube.
I'm going with I Got a Story to Tell.
I know you are, because you're not going with Warning. Because you're not going with Warning.
I mean, I would just match them up right there.
Yeah. So I mean, wait, why would you pick that one and not Warning?
Just because that's your heavyweight song. I'm gonna put one of my heavyweights right there.
Okay.
One of my see, that's the thing with Biggie. I got a whole clip full over here. With Ice Cube, you got a revolver. You got a revolver.
No,
I got a whole magazine over here. It's a big difference.
We can go back and forth if you want to.
I mean, that might be the best way to do this, 12 Cal.
Okay.
That might be the best way to do this.
Well, you go first.
I mean, we already just went first. We already went first.
No.
Okay.
I never said I'm not going to use that song first.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to keep that one.
Okay.
So
that works for me.
You got anything on that list that can compare to Dope Man?
Yes, I have plenty on this list.
What's that?
Warning.
Warning ain't better than Dope Man.
Oh, Lord.
So look, whenever 12 Cal get his paper and his pen ready, we can get this started.
I got
flip a coin. I go. Matter of fact, it don't matter. I go first.
Jerm, you go first. Okay, so what song? Okay, so are we going like how they do in the verses?
We going Snake. We going Snake. Back and forth.
Okay, all right. So Jerm, you pick your. All right, let me write Jerm, and then Baylor. All right. So Jerm, what you got for the first pick?
My number one pick, I'm going with 10 Crack Commandments.
Oh, easy. Okay, you want to break it down, or do you just want me to go?
Jerm, you want to tell them why you're taking that?
Okay, one with the 10 Crack Commandments, Biggie is giving everybody a pseudo handbook on how to be a drug dealer. Now, I wouldn't tell you, I mean, this is good guidelines, but don't think that you could just listen to this and jump 10 toes in the game with the information Biggie gave you. It's very entertaining. You know what I'm saying? It's some things you should follow by. But as far as the artistic value of the song, delicious. He hits all the right notes. Biggie showed his double entendres, his lyrical ability. Now, mind you, Biggie was 24 years old at the time of his passing. And they call him the greatest of all time. So he didn't even get to his prime. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get to see prime Biggie where he mastered his flow. What we was getting right then, nobody in the history of rap has ever been that good at 24. And he was already there. So just imagine a 30-year-old Biggie.
Well,
we didn't even get to see that.
I'm throwing I'm throwing that, okay? We didn't ask for all that. He gave us the biography. That's too much. He putting too much on it. He putting too much
but that's what Jerm does.
But I'm glad he said that 10 Crack, because so he was teaching people how to be dope dealers, huh?
Yeah.
Well, my man was a little bit more political on our side. So to match that, I got How to Survive in South Central. Not only is he giving you directions on how to carry yourself when you come to LA, he telling you the women to stay away from and the dope dealers that your man taught how to do dope.
Okay.
Jerm, what you got at number 2?
Okay, number 2. I mean, even though it's his turn, I'll go again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bill, it's on you.
Oh, I can go.
Yeah, it's on you, Bill.
Curveball, Boys in the Hood.
Ooh.
Oh, he didn't rap it, but
he
wrote everything.
Okay. All right. Since we doing that, go ahead.
All right, it's on you, John.
Number 2, I'm going to go with You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You.
Okay. Dark Skin Jermaine.
Yes. So it's back on me again.
It's back on you, Jerm.
I'm going to follow that up with Suicidal Thoughts.
Okay. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. What you got, Baylor?
I got Dead Homies.
Ooh. Off the EP, Kill It Will.
Dressed in black, don't ask why.
Because I'm down in the suit and tie. All right, Bill, it's on you.
Ooh, man, it's the perfect weather for the summer vacation.
That's one of my favorites, man.
Hey,
I ain't gonna
what
lie.
do you know? A drive-by in Missouri.
Yes, sir. What you got, Jerm?
Well, you know, I got to break it out. Give me that warning. It's time for warning.
Okay. That beeper sound still scares the hell out of me when I'm playing it in the car.
Hey, man. Yeah, the lyrics from Frank White should scare you too, guys. How he was just so surgical with it. He was just technical, just all that good stuff.
All right, we at 5, Jerm. What you got?
Well, I mean, I got to do it. I got a story to tell. Number 5, bringing up the rear. Number 5, I got a story to tell. The Notorious Glorious.
Okay.
Speaks for itself.
What you got, Baylor?
What's the point of telling the story if you ain't nobody there to record it? Who got the camera?
Slept on right there. Slept on. All right, Baylor, what else you got? That's 6.
Oh man, I gotta start this it's this 2-song series. I got 2 of them, but the first one is A Gangster's Fairy Tale. The first one.
Off the America's Most Wanted. Shout out to Flavor Flav. What you got, Jerm, at 6?
I'm gonna go first album. Me and My Bitch, Biggie.
Is that really a story rhyme, Jerm?
Oh my God, man! This is what we gonna do here. I see why he claimed to give you a hard time on the show.
Hey, man, I just asked the question. Hey, all I'm saying is, Jerm, when I think of Biggie story rhymes, I don't necessarily think of that one. But okay.
Me and My Chick, come on, man.
All right, okay. All right. So
he said when the wine was right, he said he beat her right and all that good stuff. He had to go throw the burner in the bushes and something through the shugs and the pushes. Come on, man. You can.
Okay. All right. So it's on you 7.
Let's go with Did I do Somebody's Gotta Die already?
No, you ain't done that yet.
Somebody's Gotta Die. Number 7.
All right. Okay. If I go, you gotta go. Let the gunshots blow. What you got, Baylor?
Back to my 2-song series. I'm gonna go Once Upon a Time in a Project, but the '98 version when the baby daddy came back and laying everybody down.
Gangster. What you got for 8?
For 8, you know what? I'm gonna go Laugh Now and Cry Later album. I'm going Growing Up.
Okay. Jerm, you remember that song?
Yeah, I laughed.
What you got for 8, Jerm?
Let's go ahead and put What's Beef on there, man.
Okay. What's Beef? Too gas to go to sleep. Moms ain't safe up in the Jeep. All right, what you got at 9, Jerm?
Missing You.
Missing You.
Oh Lord.
Oh man.
Baylor, what you got at 9?
I'm going with Fairy Tale 2, the second one.
All right. Gangsta Fairy Tale Part 2. Part 2. All right, for the 10th and final pick, what you got, Baylor?
Woo. Oh man, you already know what that is. Today was a good day.
Okay.
With the video.
Ooh, okay. King Jerm, what you got?
I'm going something off a Junior Mafia album, Get Money. Is that not a storytell rhyme?
I mean, you picked it. I didn't think
Get Money.
I didn't think of that as a story.
Are we gonna post these results?
I want to see the results.
I mean, we can. We definitely can.
Or at least post the song side by side.
I have to ask you, Collector, how you do that, because I could probably figure it out. Maybe put it on the
You could just have the list and just have vote A or B or something like that.
Yeah,
make it easy for
on
you.
the notes or whatever.
Yeah.
I heard what Jerm said about NWA being a little ranked too high on his show. So I'm just saying. I'm a little salty. But
it's the truth, man. Outside of fuck the police, they wasn't talking about nothing.
And they was talking about running from the police.
How dare you, Jerm? You know better.
Kyle, listen, I'm just being real. you know, hey,
Hey,
they were
how far is North Carolina from Atlanta?
about 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I see why you. Okay, that is the outcast bias. I get it. I like it. I see what it
Oh,
is.
I'm a true Outcast fan, not
Hey,
like that guy over in the corner
hey,
over
man,
there.
man, listen. There's no bigger outcast.
He
I
can't
was,
even go outside no more after them comments he made on his
hey,
episode,
hey,
man.
man, listen. I'm the only person listening to this podcast that actually was in the studio when they created equipment. So you can't say that.
You see that? You see that? Again, let me update the list.
Man, listen. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna put it out there. When we talk about, I mean, obviously we talked about story rhymes, but lyrically, you want to talk about lyricists. I think we're talking about two of the dopest lyricists ever. King Jerm, if you had a list of lyricists just off the top of your head, where does Ice Cube fall on your list of lyricists?
Not in the top 10.
Okay, well, tell me where he's at. Is he top 30, top 50, top 100?
He maybe top 25.
Okay. Baylor, where you have Biggie at?
Big, he definitely in my top 10.
Okay. I've got Ice Cube probably at like 7 or 8. I go back and forth between Ice Cube and Scarface. I don't not Biggie for only having 2 albums. I've got Biggie as far as lyricism at 5. So they're right there. So you're talking about maybe 2, maybe 3 part difference. I think where the difference comes in at, and all biases aside, because I love both MCs, I think where the difference is that Biggie's a slightly better lyricist, but Ice Cube's a better storyteller. And you can hear it just in the rhymes. Now, we only went to 10. I have a funny feeling that if I extended it to 15, Jerm is going to run out of songs.
You think so? I mean, well, it depends on the 12 Kyle list of what he considers as storytelling and not.
Well, all I'm saying, even if I said with Jerm, even if I don't say Missing You and none of these songs aren't story rhymes, I think eventually you're going to run out of songs. I mean, he's got a bigger cat. He's got 10 albums. So even though all of his songs weren't story rhymes, you're going to run out of songs pretty quick, right? Because he had an album and a double album. So that's 30 something.
And a gaggle of singles and features.
Yeah, but I mean, we all know who created more music. And again, it's not a question. It's no fault of his, because Ice Cube's what, 53, 54 years old. So, and he's still making music, still touring. And I mean, had Big lived, I'm sure he probably would have been doing the same. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, lyrically. So Baylor, where do you have Ice Cube lyrically? In your top whatever.
It's the same. It's the same. It's within the top 10, but I can't tell you where if I really had to sit down with it. Because if we're just breaking it down by lyricism, then that's one thing. But I might get that confused with my top 10 in general, because it's not far off. Like their ability and their attributes is not far from where they're ranked at.
Okay. What about you, Jerm? Where are you putting Biggie as far as lyrically in your top what?
Top 5.
Okay. Where do you have him ranked in a specific spot in the top 5, or you just got him? Where you got him in?
I got about number 2. Well, no, Biggie number 1. He's still number 1 in my book.
Okay, so Jerm, I gotta ask, who's in your top 5 lyricists?
Lyrically?
Yeah, lyrically.
Okay, we got Black Thought, Fonte.
Wait a minute. So tell me who's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5.
Oh, okay. Okay, so 1, I probably got Biggie. 2, I got maybe Jay-Z, depending on the week. 3, I got Fonte. 4, I got J. Cole, and 5, I got Black Thought.
BTG, you got a top 5 lyricists?
Just lyricists, right?
Yeah, just lyricists.
I'm gonna go with, I got Black Thought up there too. I don't think you could. Black Thought has to be like in everybody 5, and then you just add 4 others or
I
something.
don't have him. I love Black Thought. I don't have him in my top 5.
He is dangerous, dog.
He in my top 10. He's not in my top 5. Though.
All right, I got, and you know what? And he's kind of like that 5 that substitute out and somebody substitute in.
Yeah.
Definitely him. I got Jada, Nas, K Dot,
Kendrick,
and
Flo
nah, man. For some reason, man, he always been floating around, but Redman.
Oh,
ain't bad.
That's cold right
now. Like, and he's probably not even in my top 10 overall, but he was. Yeah, it's just he's one of those artists that I've always been around since I was a youngster, and he was different.
Definitely did.
I'd probably say lyrically, I go Biggie at 5, Jay-Z at 4, KRS-One at 3, Nas at 2, Rakim at 1. And I had Jay-Z higher, but Jay-Z, it seems to me like every album he makes, he keeps falling. So
he been spit some bullshit lately. Let's keep it 100.
I mean, yeah, he has. And so, like, if you ask me a year from now and he has an album come out and the album is trash, like these last couple albums have been, he might not be in my top 5. Because I think Biggie's pretty solidified where he is. You know, Scarface, Ice Cube, Black Thought, G-Rap, LL. I mean, all of those.
Wait, which LL?
Early LL, not
okay,
not Headsprung LL.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you talk about any given Sunday LL,
no. I'm talking 80, 86, 87, 89 LL.
Can't go head shirt off.
Yeah. Never seen the top of his head LL.
He collected. Look who talking. It ain't me. He collected. I just want you to know.
Hey man, listen, we've had that. He collecting. I had this discussion both on and off here. He was actually in town in Atlanta last week, and we got a chance to hang out. And we talked about it, man. And we're gonna do an episode coming up on his podcast called Goat Court, where we take an MC and take them to Goat Court to break it down and see if they can qualify as a GOAT. And you know, he's made his case for LL, but you can make a case.
I will say this. I think LL is like top 2 or 3 all time as far as like what hip hop is though.
Right.
When I was first introduced to hip hop, he was one of the first, and I want to call him when I say character, that doesn't mean that it's not him, but I'm looking at him as like an action figure or a superhero. When I think of hip hop, one of the first people I think of is LL.
Yeah.
Now he did have a Wizards career toward the end. You know what I mean? But that
front end was amazing though.
Yeah, the front end.
Oh my God!
His first 4 or 5 albums.
His rookie year was very impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, like we talk about it all the time. Like if Big had lived, who knows what his trajectory would have been? I mean, like, and we always talk about Big, and he's always synonymous with Pac. But, you know, when you look at their career spans, it was a relatively short period of time in which they ran rap, but their run was incredible. So if you say Biggie had Biggie came out with 94, by 97 he was gone.
Yeah,
it's
crazy
to think that. 97.
You want to talk about?
He didn't get to see.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Big had one of he had that aura that if you just felt good, like if you just around him. You know, he's like the super popular kid in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like he was an influence, and you didn't even have to really know much about him. He just had that aura. Right. I think that's what we miss a lot in today's game is what he brought to the table and what Pac brought to the table. Because if you fast forward and these cats was on, just imagine Pac and Big being on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at this point. Like, I would love to see a 35-year-old Pac or a 45-year-old Big.
Or a 50-year-old Pac.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted to see, because where they died young, bro.
Very young. And
my mindset, the way, when you hear Big, and I'm giving him kudos because when you hear his stories, where you even get those type of details at, bro?
Yeah.
You know
And
what I
then
mean?
and then you think about it, he allegedly didn't write it down. Allegedly.
Hey
That's
man,
crazy. And if that's true, that's crazy in and of itself that he
it's
never wrote
already
stuff down.
crazy. It's already crazy what he created. So if they tell me he didn't write it down, that's just you just put extra icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's not believable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I think of the art of storytelling, every time I listen to Q, because of what he did with Friday, I can go back and listen to his catalog, and now I can paint a movie with everything that he just said. He has one song, two different versions, twice, with the fairy tale and the projects. Both of them are, I mean, that's four songs or whatever, but and they all tell a different story. They're similar, you know what I mean? Because in the first project one, he was basically breaking down stuff. In the
Yep.
second one, he was telling you how he got caught up in a situation personally. You know what I mean? So yeah, I gotta give it not just because I'm West Coast biased, but he turned his music into a movie.
Yeah. He really did. He really did.
And that movie alone still has one of the most quotable lines of all time. Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, it's old white ladies to say Bob Felicia don't even know where it came from.
See, that's nice, Cube.
Oh, now don't get it twisted. The quote unquote the nigga you love to hate, man. Listen,
Yeah.
that Ice Cube was you couldn't touch him. You couldn't touch him, and that's the Ice Cube that I remember. So, speaking of Cube, before we get out of here, I got it because the conversation that Yayo and DJ Effin had, you know, obviously by the time Ice Cube, who's actually on tour right now, shout out to Britt. Britt just recently got a chance to see him. She said the concert was incredible. And he's also doing the Big Three, doing his thing with that. So Ice Cube was doing an interview here recently, and whoever, I think he was interviewed by Who Kid, and Who Kid asked him about, you know, he told him about the argument that the two were having, and then he asked Ice Cube about diss records, right? And he asked Ice Cube where he thought No Vaseline sat. Let's take a listen to hear what Cube had to say. So I gotta ask the two of you, King Jerm, where does No Vaseline rank as far as your diss record, all-time greatest diss records?
It's definitely in the top 5 because how personal it was, and the fact that my nephews, they were like 8, 9 years old. They know this song word for word. Lets me know that the impact that it still has to this day. Like, I mean, back when you seen somebody, like back in the days when you did somebody, you know, you touch them up a little bit. But when he touched these dudes up on No Vaseline, it was a whole nother level. He gave each one of them a verse. Like, we never, like, he just decimated the whole crew. So it's definitely a top 5 diss song. Like, if not top 2, and it might not be 2. So I can't take that
Okay,
away
so
from you.
Jerm, you playing politician. Where you putting it at, Jerm? You playing
I said it's
politician.
top 5. I mean, it just
Yeah,
depends.
but then you said it's top 2, and it's not number 2.
And it
so
might not
it's
be
number
2.
one.
So it's one of the top. It could be top 2 diss songs of all time.
Okay, so what are you putting if it's 2? What are you putting ahead of it?
There you go.
I gotta ask these. I'm interviewing. I gotta ask.
Dang. See, give me a second to think on that. But I know it's
All right,
it's
so-
up
so-
there. It's up there. It's up there.
Hold that thought. I'm gonna go to
Okay.
Baylor, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking, and I'm coming back to you.
Okay.
Baylor, diss records, No Vaseline. Where are you putting it?
Number one.
Okay.
Number one, and solely because he had all the information and you had no choice but to believe it.
Fact.
Because without him, truth be told, Easy E will still be the street legend. But because of the Ghost Rider, now he is street legend and a hip hop legend. One of the most iconic tracks of all time. One of the most sampled beats of all time.
Facts.
Right? And the opening line is, come on, man. Everybody know it. No, I've never had a low rider in my life. But how many times have I been cruising down?
Y'all set it up.
Come on, man. Come on, man. It was not only that is he stripped away everybody's character.
Mm-hmm.
And what made matters worse is that he had a baseball bat and went to go get in the midst of all that. And a lot of people attached to him because he played the political game. You know what I mean? He hasn't had an album yet where he hasn't said something about the government. He's been saying, I mean, we talking about almost 30 years ago when he got a song called "Who Got the Camera."
Yeah. He was quote unquote woke for a while. For me, it's number one, and it's not. I think there's a distance between 1 and 2. I never have dinner with the president. I never have dinner with the president. I never have dinner with the president. And when I see you ask again, I'll be hesitant. I mean, much like what Baylor said, like he gave a bar for everybody in the group. Now, keep in mind, you have to. I think the thing that makes No Vaseline so dope is what it is that it definitely feels different and sounds different if you were alive and outside at that particular time. You know, if you're 20 years old and you listen to it now, so you're like, okay, well, you might get it. You might, but you got to understand.
Why is he so angry?
NWA they called themselves the world's dangerous crew. And that name was well-deserved in hip-hop circles. Now, keep in mind, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have social media. So a lot of what NWA talked about, we just assumed that they did. So if they were these bad guys in hip-hop and rap, we just assumed that whoever they said they shot them. Whoever they said they beat up, they beat them up.
12 Cal. Even if none of that stuff was true,
right. Even if it was never true.
Their influence was strong enough for a wrestling company to invent the so-called New World Order. NWO, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, man. It was definitely something. So, and the thing that I always say about No Vaseline is there was never a response from NWA. Never.
Just to clear that up real quick, Baylor, the WCW used to be called NWA before they changed their name to WCW. But
back in the day, yeah, correct.
It was called NWA.
Yeah, it was called. Yeah, it was a National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah.
It was, but that pretty much was in the South, though. It was pretty much in the South. We used to watch wrestling on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw it back to you, Jerm, before we get out of here. Where you, if you got it at 2, what's at 1?
Number 1 is either going to be Back to Back by Drake or.
Wait, what?
I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm about to cut the damn podcast off.
Calm down. But no, it probably is number 1 because it hits all the lines of a good diss record. It's got disrespect. It's got good rhymes. It's not just like "fuck you," "I fuck your bitch, you fat motherfucker." Right. It ain't corny like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though, Pac came with a little heat, but them other niggas brought that song down. So really I can't hit him up in the top 5. Biggie, I can't really give him a good diss song because, Who Shot You is good, but he didn't name no names. You know what I'm saying? You got to name names in a diss song to make it really hit home. We don't want too many subliminals. So I concede and give Ice Cube.
Ether and
Ether is, man, Ether, again. Ether is just Nas telling Jay-Z he ugly over and over again. He said he just wanted us to know that Jay-Z was ugly in that song. He didn't say nothing else but you ugly, you ugly, you ugly, you ugly. That's all he said in Ether. And so Ether's everybody want to give Ether this it's a great diss song. It's not really that great. It's not that great. Too. You got Ether at 2?
Yeah. I mean, because and the reason why is because and I did a podcast on this who did I do that podcast with? It was probably about 2 years ago. Me and my boy Ty. Shout out to Ty from Tactics Know-It-Alls. Yeah. So I think the thing that separated that song was that he came and dissed him. Well, if you go back to Takeover, when we heard Takeover, we really thought it was over for Nas. And keep in mind, you have to think about contextually in that time frame. There was about almost 8 months in between Takeover and Ether. So we literally thought Nas was going. Remember how when Drake dissed Meek Mill and Drake dissed all these other people, people were like, oh, they were on social media. Oh, you got to come back. You got to come back. And they didn't have a choice but to come back. Like they were back trying to in the studio the next day or 2 or 3 days later making a song. Like we literally didn't hear from Nas for like almost 8 months. And then he dropped Takeover and he took shots at everybody. And I mean, like he said Jay-Z's name. I mean, like for years and years, they had been throwing subliminal shots at each other. But I don't think that it's on that level. Both are great diss records, but I think No Vaseline is up here, and then you've got a battle between 2 and 3 and 4. I don't think it's even close. And Ice Cube definitely has the best diss record, I think, of all time. Man, this was fun. This was fun, man. Got a chance to get the boys on here. We're going to let the people decide. I'm going to put out a poll and let people decide, for what it's worth. But, I mean, you guys heard the podcast. You know who's right. Either it's Baylor or it's King Jerm.
I'm always hey, King Jerm, real quick. Give me 3 artists right now and a track name for like the ultimate storytelling track. 3 artists.
Okay, we got J. Cole for Your Eyes Only. Let's see, 3 artists.
No, I'm saying 3 artists that you would put together to make a storytelling track.
Oh, 3 artists I put together. Oh, okay. Give me J. Cole. I'm gonna go with Superpowers. K. Dot and storytelling. Who could balance this third one? Golly. Y'all be asking some good questions, man. How you thinking? Put you on the spot and make you want to think fast.
Maybe Fonte, maybe.
You know what? That would be fucking amazing. There you go, right there. Fonte, Cole, and Dot. Give me that.
Mm.
I'm gonna give you this. It's a cold one, and I'm gonna call it track Neighbors. Right?
Okay.
The track is called Neighbors. I got Ice Cube, Biggie, and Eminem.
I will be with you till you put that Eminem on there.
Oh, hey, that wasn't but that wasn't.
But I ain't gonna lie though. Stan is one of those songs like that's visual right there. Like that Eminem did his thing on that one. Like I can't take it from him with Stan.
I just got so tired of that song so fast though.
Oh yeah, they played that song out.
It's just
death. But it is a great story run, and it's one of his most memorable and
How do you feel about the game when he did the Black Shem Shady?
I liked it, but it's not for this generation. Remember,
it was basically like Game showing y'all like, look, I can do the same thing with Eminem doing, but y'all ain't receive it the same way. And I was just like, how y'all ain't pick up what he was doing? He stole Eminem's whole flow to show y'all like not anybody can do it, but it can be done, but y'all ain't receive it the same.
He showed that he was talented.
Yeah, talented to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's the game, and at that time, like it's, people are, and it might still be this way to this day, but people are either on or off with game. Like you run into very few people be like,
12 Count, that album was good, bro. Was it a
last
long
one?
Yeah.
It was good.
No, he had 40 tracks, man. I can't listen to 40.
But I'm gonna tell you, out of all those tracks, it wasn't a bad shooting percentage at all.
Okay.
It wasn't.
He really had some tracks on there. It was good. The thing is, it's his character. At the end of the day, because when he dropped 300 bars, he had everybody in the chokehold. If he would have dropped that Eminem track right after 300 bars, he probably would have got a better response. It's not for this era though. They don't appreciate music how we appreciate.
They don't appreciate bars these days. They do not. They be like, they don't want to hear that shit. They be like, yo, stop rapping at me. Like that's basically how
they just want to feel. They just want to feel good. That's
it's about the music. Because when I hear particularly younger, and I hate to be old man, get off my lawn, Uncle Dolomite, but I'm gonna be old man, get off my lawn right now. When I hear some of them talk or tweet, it's like, man, that beat is cold. Like that beat is dope, man. Like I'm not listening for a beat. I can appreciate. I love hearing beats from Premier or Jay Dilla or Dr. Dre or whomever. But I want to hear if you're a lyricist, if you spit, I want to hear what you got to say.
Man, I can't even think of the beat sound of Meet the Parents. And Meet the Parents is a cold story.
Right. Great. That's one of Jay-Z's, I think, best story runs. But nowadays people don't like Jerm said, they feel like they're rapping at them, so they're not really checking for what it is that they have to say as far as the content. I appreciate it even to this day. Man, this has been dope, man. This has been dope. Before we get out of here, you guys tell folks where they can find you. Jerm, you up first. Tell people where they can find you, where they can find the podcast, where they can get you up on the social.
Oh man, if y'all want to hear me and my wife ramble, the royal couple of ramble, go back and forth. Check us out every Friday on all DSPs. Pod Saved Our Marriage. We out there. Like I said, we're just trying to entertain people and show y'all how Pod saved our marriage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of my favorites, man. What about you, Baylor? Tell them when they can find you at.
I'm a top 5 point guard. Okay. At Baylorism on TikTok, at Baylorism on Twitter. I don't even know the rest of my handles. If you own
Baylorism all over.
I think it's Baylorism, BTG. I don't know. Baylor the Great on IG.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm a podcaster that make merch. That's it.
There it is. And Jerm is pot. Was it? What's your Twitter?
It's Pod Saved Our Marriage on Instagram. Pod Saved Marriage on Twitter. And yeah, we got a little merch too, but it ain't nothing fancy or nothing.
hey, Jerm, leave the wifey alone when it comes to Ashanti. Okay.
Hey, look, she need to leave me alone, bro. Like, shoot, like I said, man.
Hey, when he said the first two names was I forgot the first. Oh, you said Beyonce.
That was
Janet,
a Beyonce, yeah,
and then Janet, right? So if you say Beyonce or Janet in our generation, they already know what it is. They know that's our childhood. Right. You know, when they come to Janet, that's our childhood.
Exactly,
right there. Beyonce, that's obvious, fine.
Yeah.
When he said Ashanti,
I
said, okay. Now he playing around. That's like you got to sneak her name in there.
Hey man, listen. Let me tell you something. When you listen to their podcast and it sounds like Queen Jerm about to bust his ass, she ain't playing. Like that, it's no acting. She really is like, and like I remember like the first couple of times I heard Jerm and Queen Jerm on the podcast, I really was like fearful because I was like, yo, he just and like he said something and he walked himself into, like because we all been married a long time. He walked himself into this argument. I was like, no, Jerm, don't do it. I'm in the car like, no, don't do it. And but yeah, they cracked me up.
The podcast arguments when he said I think they was naming all names. He was like, hey, you not going up there. You not going.
Yeah, like it's certain you can't let your girl go on stage and say, just think about it, you let your girl go on stage.
He was like
Chris Brown doing that break you down. He's sitting there doing the worm on your old lady. No, you're not. You're not finna do me like that. Like, no.
Hey, but Jerm, remember, and I thought you were gonna bring this up. Remember when Janet was pulling dudes on the stage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bruh, you can't go up on stage.
Hey, look. Hey, you know what? I did some research about that, right? So he was like a dancer on her team because he wasn't because everybody was saying that happened in Kansas City, that happened in Hawaii, that happened in, and so somebody finally went down the rabbit hole like he was one of her paid dancers.
Okay.
So they made it look like she pulled him out to say, but it was the same guy at every stop. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, you can't just pull randos out there. Janet would have got fucked. Janet would have got fucked up there. Nigga would have.
I would have licked her chin.
It would have been some problems in my household because
he up there like I'm. Janet.
Mine know how I feel about Penny Gordon, so I mean it is what it is. We go back that far. She Penny Gordon to me, so y'all know where to catch me at, man. 12 Kyle across the board on socials, on Threads. If you're on Threads, Twitter, Instagram, the podcast 12 Kyle podcast. We drop episodes every Thursday, much like this one, every Thursday at midnight. We also drop bonus episodes from time to time on Sundays at midnight. Be sure, if you feel inclined, hit us up on Cash App, $TWELVEKYLEY, because I'm poor, unlike King Jerm. So that's going to do it for us, man. Again, I got to thank my boys for coming through, BTG, Baylor the Great, and the great King Jerm, man. This is going to be another episode of the 12 Kyle podcast where we talk about Biggie versus Ice Cube with King Jerm and Baylor. That's going to do it for us. We'll catch you guys next time. 5,000.